The Kalachakra for world peace, celebrated by His Holiness the Dalai Lama roughly once a year, is the largest of the Buddhist rituals. Thousands of men and women gather to promote peace, tolerance, and compassion within themselves and in the world. 2,500 years ago, Buddha Shakyamuni taught that all the suffering of our existence stems from spiritual blindness taking the form of hatred, anger, greed, and envy. Through meditation, we can free our spirit from these negative emotions and develop the qualities of compassion and wisdom. The Kalachakra Tantra is one of the most effective systems of Buddhist practice and meditation designed to facilitate the transformation of our consciousness into a state of enlightenment. Shambhala, or Shangri-La, is the name of a mythical pure land whose king, Suchandra, received the Kalachakra Tantra from Buddha Shakyamuni. Through the practice of the Kalachakra Tantra, pain and war were eradicated in Shambhala. The Kalachakra for world peace ritual is still used today to help realize this vision of paradise. Traveling over the 4,500-meter high Kunsumla Pass, we come to Spiti, a high valley in the Himalayas where His Holiness the Dalai Lama is leading a Kalachakra ritual for world peace in August 2000. The journey to Spiti is an adventure in its own right and takes several days. In order to reach our destination, we have to conquer high mountain passes and deep ravines. Spiti, formerly a kingdom in its own right, has been part of India since 1949. Due to its proximity to the borders of Chinese-occupied Tibet, it was closed to foreigners until 1992. Ki is a small village lying at a height of 4,100 meters. Its monastery buildings, situated on a hill, overlook the entire Spiti Valley. The monastery was founded in the 14th century and houses a collection of ancient and highly valuable paintings. For a period of 2 weeks, Spiti has become the center of the Kalachakra universe and the destination of thousands of Tibetan as well as Western Buddhists. The ritual for purification of the place, designed to create favorable conditions for the Kalachakra ceremony, begins with Lama dancing. Kalachakra means the wheel of time. The Kalachakra Tantra describes the cycles of time in our external and internal worlds. The alternative Kalachakra describes the practices which allow us to harmonize with the inner and outer cycles and ultimately transform our spirit into the enlightened consciousness of Kalachakra Buddha. The Tantric Kalachakra personification of Buddha, who has 4 faces and 24 arms and is portrayed in blissful union with his consort Vishvamata, symbolizes the unity of compassion and wisdom, of form and emptiness. In order to please the Buddhas, they are offered real and visualized gifts in the form of butter lamps, incense sticks, flowers, and water bowls. The preparatory rituals, which extend over several days, are held in isolation in a small temple. People crowd around its windows to catch sight of what's going on inside. For many of the participants, these 11 days spent in the presence of His Holiness represent the high point of their lives. The focal point of the preparatory rituals consists of the creation of the Kalachakra sand mandala. The Kalachakra mandala is the mansion of the Kalachakra personification of Buddha and his retinue. A total of 720 male and female manifestations representing all the different aspects of enlightened consciousness. To symbolize the Buddhas, red barley corns are placed at the relevant points of the mandala while a mantra is recited. The creation of the mandala which ensues, using colored sand, is a procedure which requires the greatest precision and patience. The first line is strewn by His Holiness the Dalai Lama himself. Following this, a team of monks works without interruption for 5 whole days on the completion of the mandala. We create our universe with our own minds, based on our own inclinations and thought patterns conditioned by habit. As the mind is not perfect, the universe is therefore also imperfect and full of pain. By purifying the mind and elevating it to a state of enlightenment, we transform our surroundings into a mandala. In accordance with tradition, Kalachakra initiation proceeds on the basis of a mandala made of colored sand. While these preparatory rituals are carried out, His Holiness the Dalai Lama has the opportunity to give some basic Buddhist instruction. The goal of our human lives should lie in serving all living beings, at the very least in being careful not to harm any of them. There is nothing special about caring for oneself. Birds and other creatures are also able to do this. They also know how to reproduce and take care of other basic matters. The development of an interest in the welfare of others is what makes this life meaningful. If we are incapable of helping others in developing this kind of compassion, it means little that we are capable of surviving. Even flowers survive. In the afternoon, as soon as the teaching session has finished, everyone returns to their quarters and evening life begins. Most of the Tibetans and some of the guests from the West are staying in the tent camps beneath the monastery. Here, the desolate riverbanks have been transformed into a place filled with pulsating life. While some people rest and others explore their surroundings, the completion of the sand mandala is celebrated with dancing.
Perhaps another factor. Oneself should be truthful, sincere, and not a hide. Just open, just to say whatever I feel. Okay. I think that's one factor. One factor. And then, of course, whenever I met someone, I consider them as just another human being. No differences from me, Swa. Emotionally, or mentally, or physically. We are same. We all have, you see, same potential for good as well as for bad. Healing air. I don't know. Actually, the healing power, I'm very skeptical. Often you see people, sometimes you see people come to see me with sort of expect, right? With expect, I have the healing power. That's nonsense. If I myself have some healing power, then I should not have these physical problems here. So I mentioned half joke. If there is real sort of healing power and someone have healing power, then I want to show you. So my skin disease here. I think most probably, I think there is real hope. Now I think here I think one simple answer. Because of the simple explanation about Tibet, I want to mention. That is, if we look at Tibet's situation locally, then things are very difficult. You get feeling of hopelessness and desperate. But if we look at Tibet's issue from a wider perspective, then there is real hope. It's a global level, things are much changing. And people from China itself, in the process of changing. And other side is the Tibetan spirit, very strong. So, judging from this sort of wider perspective, there's real hope. So, possible. I'm not very sure. Now, third question. Then here, as I mentioned earlier, physically not very happy here. I already mentioned this. Physically, it's too dry. Too dry. Look here. What always is happening?
In preparation for the actual initiation, His Holiness explains proper motivation, bodhicitta, the mind of enlightenment. This is the sincere wish to attain enlightenment for the good of all beings. We all want to be happy and free of suffering. True happiness can only be achieved with the heart that cares for the welfare of all beings, not just its own. Blessed Kusha grass is handed out. His Holiness instructs the participants to place the grass under mattresses and examine their dreams for guidance. Each is given a blessed red string to be worn on the arm to ward off negative influences. Kalachakra is a series of consecutive initiations. Each of them is designed to purify a specific aspect of consciousness and promote the transformation of the spirit into the enlightened nature of Kalachakra. His Holiness the Dalai Lama leads the proceedings through complex visualizations. As the initiation master, he takes on the role of Buddha Kalachakra at the center of the visualized mandala. He guides the meditators into the mandala, where union with Kalachakra takes place. Out of the emptiness of clear light, blissful consciousness develops in the form of a complete mandala at whose center resides Buddha Kalachakra surrounded by his retinue. The clear and fresh morning of the last day is dedicated to the ceremony for the long life of His Holiness. Such gifts as sacred texts, tankas, and bags of tsampa, roasted barley corn, are offered to His Holiness. Like everything else, the mandala comes to life only to pass into emptiness again. At the close of the ritual, the sand of the mandala is poured into the nearby Spiti river, which will carry its blessing far and wide, just as the wind carries the blessings of the prayer flags on the Kunsumla.
Chik te me